The rain streaked down the windshield of Leo's delivery van, turning the quiet suburban street of Oakhaven into a blur of grays and greens. For Leo, a man in his late 20s with a kind face that had seen its share of hard times, these routes were more than just a job. They were a connection to his community. His last stop of the day was always 42 Willow Creek Lane, a modest bungalow with a well-kept lawn but curtains that were perpetually drawn. The order was always the same, placed by a man named Arthur. 6 cans of generic beans, a loaf of cheap white bread, and a single sad-looking apple. Today, as he approached the porch, the door creaked open before he could knock. Arthur, a man in his early 30s with sharp, impatient eyes, stood there. He never smiled. "Just leave it there," Arthur said, his tone clipped, already stepping back to close the door. But Leo's eyes darted past him. In the dim hallway stood Eleanor, the elderly woman of the house. She was painfully thin, her cardigan hanging off her slight frame. Her eyes, a faded blue, met Leo's for a fleeting second, a silent, desperate plea. I wanted to ask if you needed any milk or eggs this week," Leo said quickly, trying to hold the door open with his presence. "Or some fruit. We have a special on oranges." Arthur moved to block his view, his jaw tight. "She's on a restricted diet. Doctor's orders. Now, if you don't mind." His voice left no room for argument. Just then, Eleanor whispered, so softly it was almost lost to the patter of the rain. My photo album." "Grandmother is tired," Arthur interrupted, his voice hardening as he shot a warning glance over his shoulder. "She doesn't know what she's saying." He practically snatched the bag of groceries from Leo's hand. "Thank you. We're fine." The door shut with a definitive thud, leaving Leo standing on the damp porch, a knot of unease tightening in his stomach. "Doctor's orders?" She looked frail enough to be blown over by a strong wind. And that whisper, *photo album*, it didn't sound like the rambling of a confused mind. It sounded like a specific, suppressed memory. A week later, stopping at a local convenience store for a coffee, Leo saw it. Taped haphazardly to the glass door, slightly faded from the sun, was a missing elderly poster. The face staring back at him stole his breath away. It was Eleanor. The poster offered a $10,000 reward for information leading to her safe return. It described her full name, Eleanor Greenfield, and stated she suffered from early-stage dementia but was otherwise healthy. Most chillingly, it stated she had vanished from her home in the affluent neighborhood of Crestview Hills, over 50 miles away, nearly 6 months ago. The contact person was her attorney. The face on the poster wasn't just similar. It was identical to the woman he saw every week, the woman who was fed only beans and bread. The pieces, once scattered and confusing, now clicked into a horrifying picture. Arthur wasn't a caring grandson. He was a jailer. And 42 Willow Creek Lane wasn't her home. It was her prison. Leo's heart hammered against his ribs. He snapped a picture of the poster with his phone, his hands trembling. He couldn't just call the police with a hunch. What if Arthur had some kind of legal guardianship? What if he managed to explain it all away and then moved her, cutting off Leo's only link? He needed proof. He needed to hear it from Eleanor herself. His next delivery day felt like an eternity away. When it finally arrived, he prepared carefully. He arrived at 42 Willow Creek Lane earlier than usual, hoping to catch a different routine. He saw Arthur's car was gone. This was his chance. He approached the door, his usual grocery bag in one hand, a small, high-quality voice recorder app open on his phone in his pocket. He knocked firmly. After a long moment, the lock turned, and Eleanor opened the door just a crack, her eyes wide with fear. "Ma'am," Leo said, his voice soft and calm, as if approaching a startled bird. "It's Leo, the delivery driver. I have your groceries. Is Arthur here?" She shook her head, her hand trembling on the door. "He's at the bank. Always on Tuesdays." "Eleanor," Leo said, using her name deliberately. He showed her the photo of the missing poster on his phone. "Is this you? Are you Eleanor Greenfield?" Tears welled in her eyes instantly, a dam of silence breaking. "Yes," she choked out. "He's my grandson, but he's not. He's not good. He took me from my home. He says he's protecting me, but he's waiting for the money. My late husband's trust fund. He can't access it unless—" She trailed off, clutching her chest. "Unless," Leo prompted gently. "Unless the lawyer declares me deceased," she whispered, the words hanging heavy in the air. "He's hiding me here, starving me, making me look sicker than I am. So when the lawyer finally visits—" The horrifying strategy was now clear. Arthur was systematically weakening his own grandmother, accelerating her decline, to fraudulently inherit her wealth. Suddenly, the roar of a car engine cut through the quiet. Eleanor's face paled in sheer terror. "He's back. Please go. Don't let him see you. I'm going to get you out of here," Leo promised, his voice fierce with a newfound determination. "I swear it." He slipped away just as Arthur's car turned onto the street, the recorded confession safely stored on his phone. It was all the evidence he needed. Leo didn't wait. From the safety of his van, he called the number on the poster, reaching Eleanor's attorney, a Mr. Davison. He then called the police, relaying everything and playing the damning recording. The following hour was a blur of silent, efficient action. 2 unmarked police cars and Mr. Davison's sleek sedan converged a block away from Willow Creek Lane. Leo pointed out the house, his hands still shaking, but now with adrenaline rather than fear. The police moved in. Leo watched from a distance as they knocked on the door. When Arthur opened it, his smug expression melted into one of panicked defiance. He tried to block the entrance, his voice loud and blustering. "What is the meaning of this? You have no right. She's unwell." But his lies were useless. The officers brushed past him. Moments later, they emerged, gently supporting Eleanor. Wrapped in a blanket, she was crying, but for the first time, they were tears of relief. The final, most satisfying moment was when the police led a handcuffed Arthur to a squad car. He was screaming about his rights, about a misunderstanding, but the cuffs on his wrists told the true story. As he was put into the back seat, he caught sight of Leo standing by his delivery van. His eyes widened in shocked recognition, then narrowed into slits of pure, impotent rage. He knew exactly who had unraveled his cruel scheme. Mr. Davison approached Leo, his hand extended. "You are a hero, son. That recording, you saved her life." The medical examiner said another month in those conditions. He shook his head, unable to finish the grim thought. He handed Leo a check for the full $10,000 reward. But for Leo, the money was secondary. The real reward came a week later. He was invited to Eleanor's real home in Crestview Hills. The house was bright, filled with photos of a long, happy life. The photo album she had whispered about. Eleanor, though still frail, had color in her cheeks. She was being cared for by a professional, kind-hearted live-in nurse. She took Leo's hands in hers, her grip surprisingly strong. "Thank you, Leo," she said, her clear eyes holding his. "You saw me when everyone else just saw an old woman. You listened." Driving away from the beautiful neighborhood, Leo felt a profound sense of peace. He had set out to deliver groceries, but he had ended up delivering freedom to an old woman. He had learned that sometimes the most heroic acts aren't done by superhumans, but by ordinary people who simply choose to pay attention, to care, and to act. And in the quiet hum of his delivery van, he knew that was a delivery more valuable than any other. If you are a fan of tales of unexpected justice, everyday heroes, and underdogs who rise when no one saw it coming, please subscribe to our channel. Here, you'll find moments that warm your heart, twists that take your breath away, and endings you'll never forget. See you in the next one.